All right, guys. I was sitting down and I was watching a Cliff. I can't remember his last name, but he talks about the Bible and different things like that. And he had a guy come up and he was asking, well, why doesn't God show Himself to me here? Why do we have so many bad people? I may even put the video up in just a second. I may link it. Show a portion of it here in just a minute. If I do, it'll be here.
He's not this religious ritual. He wants to change my heart, so instead of hating, I love. Instead of being disrespectful, I respect people. That's why I'm committed to introducing people to Jesus Christ. Why? Because I'm convinced He's the solution.
Oh, I love that part about Christianity. They're probably the nicest religious out there, generally speaking. Generally speaking, I'm thinking, why God just doesn't come out and freaking make it simple?
Okay, that's the next question. Yeah.
Hey, I created all of you. I can take care of all of you. I can kill all of you. I can keep you alive. And if you don't behave, you're going to be killed.
Yeah.
And this is the way. Nobody's going to kill each other. Everybody's going to be nice. Everybody has to do their job. Make the heaven over here. Just why wait until you die and go to the other side?
Well, because you're
Dangerous game to play to make people believe in something. That guy believes in a little bit different thing. That guy believes in, and then they hate each other. They kill each other, and everybody thinks they're right. And who knows who's right until you die, and we'll find out the other side who was right. All copied it after that.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, if this is true, and like as you said, 80% of the world believe in it, not 80%, half of the world. Why just God doesn't come out? Just wait until you die.
Every single religion.
But anyway, so in that video, he's talking about why God doesn't, why He won't do certain things, He won't show Himself, and why doesn't He just fix everything? If there was a God, He would just fix everything. Now that question is sort of a complex question, just like everything in life. It's sort of a complex question. It's an easy question, but it's also sort of complex because if people that don't know the Bible, don't really understand the Bible, don't understand that fact. They'll just say kind of words like, well, God is just God and He can do what He wants to do. Yeah, but He's actually set up the world in a certain way. And He's set up laws that He Himself cannot go beyond. His own laws He cannot go beyond. He always does everything by laws, as a matter of fact. The main law being the law of love, which supersedes all laws, by the way. But at the same time, so let me preface it with this. In order for love to be real, it has to be a choice. Does that make sense? I can't go to my wife now and say, you're gonna love me no matter what. Then if she loves me, it wouldn't be real love because she would be forced to, be subservient to my will if I had some craziness like that going on. But so that wouldn't be love. She has to choose willingly. That's what love is. And so with that preface, we have to start with that. But we go back. Okay, so love has to be a choice in order for it to be authentic. That's the first thing we got to know. That's number one. The second thing we got to understand is the laws, okay, of how things are set up. And that God never goes back on what He says. He never, ever does. Okay, anytime He says something, it's just like I heard a preacher say, well, Abraham changed God's mind. He at Sodom and Gomorrah, he was like, I'm gonna stop God from destroying Sodom and Gomorrah. He said, God, would you destroy Sodom and Gomorrah if there was 50 people? And he gets all the way down, 50 righteous people. And he gets all the way down to 10 righteous people. And God says, no, I wouldn't destroy it if there was 10. So it was like He changed His mind, but He didn't change His mind because God knew what He was going to do in the first place, and He still destroyed it. And He destroyed it because it was evil. And it was evil. That's a whole other conversation I don't want to get into right now because it's going to take a while to build the background of that so people will understand why. Because people are like, God destroyed, He's a mean God. But if you had people slaying kids and doing all kinds of debauchery on themselves and freely doing it to other people and carrying out violence whenever they wanted to just because they felt like it, that's not a good society. So with that said, anyway, but moving back to why doesn't God just fix everything? Why doesn't he just fix everything? Why do we have to have all the problems that we do? Why do people fight back and forth about things? And why do people murder people and blah, blah, blah? God is a good God, right? Why doesn't he just fix everything? Okay, so back in Genesis, and you can look it up if you want to, the Lord says to Adam and Eve, and he goes, I have given you all these things on the earth for you to have dominion over. And dominion means reign. That means literally that's their domain to reign. I can't touch it. It's yours to take care of and have rulership over. You're supposed to rule over the whole entire earth. I do not rule over the earth because I've given it to you so you can be like me and have your own base kingdom to rule over, and I can have my heavenly kingdom, and we can both talk back and forth and be one in rulership. Okay, and that's basically what he was trying to get to him. He's trying to get what he's trying to have us do today too. But what happened was Adam gave up his dominion, and the way he did that was he disobeyed a direct command from God, which was his only command. He said, "Look, I give you all these trees." Thousands and thousands of trees, fruit trees, all kinds of trees. You can eat off all these trees. But one tree, which is the knowledge of good and evil, choice. That's his choice. That's the choice. Remember what love is? How do you authenticate love? There's only one way. You have to have a choice. If everything is perfect and good, and there's no choice to choose something other than what's perfect and good, then how can you know that that choice is authentic? How can you know? And this is what he had to do. He had to create the ability for people, us, to be able to make the wrong choice. But he told us what choice to make. He said, please don't do this, because if you do it, you will die. He even tells you what will happen. If you do this, you will surely die. And then what do we get? We get the snake, right? The snake that comes into the garden. Basically, it's the Bible talks about it being Lucifer or the fallen angel. And he enters the snake and talks through the snake. Animals could talk, by the way. So Narnia stories are actually true, by the way. Anyway, so he talks to them and he says, what? You won't surely die if you eat of that fruit, which is a lie. What he's trying to do is say you won't die immediately, but God said you will surely die, which means over time you will die. But he said you won't surely die. So he's basically lying to him, because what he's trying to say is, no, God knows as soon as you eat of that apple, just like everything else right nowadays, as soon as you know this, then you will have his knowledge. He knows you're missing out. They're not missing out. He's telling them they're missing something that they're not missing, actually. So he tells them that they're missing out. And so they eat of the fruit, and then sin enters the world. And sin was the reason why the first murder happened. Do you see? So I think it's hard to explain that sometimes, because people don't understand. They don't even know the Bible, like have no idea, no clue. And they don't put these things together. But that is the reason why bad things happen, because now the devil has created a domain of sin that he can run around and do some of the stuff that he wants to do through people. That's another thing that people don't understand. In the spiritual world and the physical world, the spiritual has to use physical to be able to move in the physical world, okay? So a spiritual being can't just manifest themselves unless they're called upon by a physical being or something like that, if that makes sense. It's very, unless someone's prayed somewhere, somehow they were called upon. Sometimes that could be in the past, they were called upon for a certain time in the future. So there's all kinds of reasons why that stuff happens. But anyway, the idea is that this is why bad things happen. This is why everything isn't good. Because in heaven, everything is good. Everything is perfect. But heaven is God's main domain. That's his rulership domain. Earth is supposed to be man's. And we messed it up and gave it over to sin and disobedience. Okay? Disobedience, that's another word, and I'll stop here. But disobedience is a word that's misunderstood too, because people think obedience means to follow somebody, but really the word obedience means to follow the right way. That's actually what it means. It means to follow the way that will work. That's actually what obedience means. So if you follow somebody who is doing the thing, in other words, somebody that's going to destroy something, then you're actually following a way that doesn't work, because destruction isn't how things work and flourish. Obedience causes things to work and flourish and get better. Disobedience causes things to get worse. That's what people don't understand. So I'm just going to leave you with that. Anyway, thanks, guys. Bye.